Welcome back. Today we're reviewing the Pagani Huayra Roadster BC by LCD models. LCD models have been around for a few years. They're still a fairly new company, but their focus is on 1/6/4 and 1 1/8 scale models. Their 1 1/8 scale models are die cast and fully opening. The particular model we're reviewing today has actually been out for a few months now. But it wasn't until just a few weeks ago that the retailers started releasing the original color, which is that gray. That is the color that this particular car was first introduced in. So I wanted to wait until that came out to review it, because this one is going to stay in my collection, and so I wanted that specific color. So enough of me talking about it. Let's get to the review. And here we are. This model costs just about as much as the auto art version, and of course the pricing is going to vary. You can find these anywhere from 280 US dollars. I've seen them as low as 216 US, not in this color, but in the other colors. And some are actually higher. I've seen them as high as $300. So it really depends on what retailer you go to buy your models from. The overall silhouette is perfect. It's just like the actual thing, the 1-to-1. I've not seen any flaws in this model. The paint is evenly applied. There's no issues with the paint at all. Look at the shut lines. This is a die cast metal model, and the shut lines are actually better than some of the resin models that I have. That includes even in the front here, which this part is. Obviously this does open. The number decal, it's on a carbon fiber, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an exposed carbon fiber, but it is nice and glossy, as you can see. The carbon fiber, and you will see this when I do the top view as well, it's nice, it's glossy, it mimics the real thing very well. I would say that in certain light you can see some of the imperfections, but that just might require a nice little buff. But other than that, it looks really good. The other thing, or one of the best features I would say, next to the motor, which I will show you obviously, is the wheels. And this is by far some of the best wheels I've ever seen on any model. Not only do they look and feel like they're cast, well, actually in this case they'd be forged aluminum, they look the part, and they do it very well. So you have your center cap, you have a valve stem that actually has the look of a cap on top of it. That's how detailed this is. You also have the Pagani logo on the rim, as well as Horatio's signature. And looking up close, it's a clear signature. Technology is an amazing thing that they could accomplish something like that, but it's very clear and it's consistent on both wheels. The scripting, it actually has all of the pertinent information just like the real thing. I've never seen that before. And you can have a microscope and look at it very close, and you can read it. That's how detailed it is. The brake calipers are fantastic. They have a metallic paint look to them. The ceramic rotors look like ceramic rotors. It's just outstanding. The pinstripe throughout the model, I've seen on lesser brands where it's applied uneven. On this one, I don't see anything like that at all. It's applied very evenly. Since we're in the front, let's just talk about that. This air dam, keep in mind this is again a die-cast metal model. Metal zinc die-cast it's malleable, but it's obviously not as easy to mold as a plastic would be. And yet, the lines and the folds in this particular material that they're using is flawless. It's really nice and smooth, and it does look just like the real deal. The perforated grill, which is really nicely done. You can see right through it, and you can see I'm assuming those are smaller radiators, or it could be the coolers for intercoolers for the turbo, but they're present as well. The headlight detail, you can see the quad lights are all lined perfectly. There's not one up and one down or anything like that. They're aligned perfectly. The carbon fiber surrounding them again looks fantastic. It's nice and glossy. Moving on to the back. Of course, you have your perforated grille, exposes the engine. In reality, that's supposed to cool the engine, but it looks fantastic. The pinstriping again is aligned perfectly. It's not off in any way. It's not uneven. You can get another look at that shiny carbon fiber look. Beautiful signature there. The tailpipes, the quad pipes, are mimicking a titanium that's been heated, so they discolor once they're heated, and it looks that way. It does not look like a peanut blue exhaust. And again, you'll see more of that when we open this thing up. So far, so good. The operation to open this is pretty seamless. Just per the instructions. Actually, before I open it, let me show you this too. So the one thing I was surprised at is that this model did not come with any type of tool to open up some of the bits. So like, for example, the front flaps, you can open them with your hands, or you could use a tool. I'm just using my sturdy Auto Art tool to open these up, just to show you that they do open. And again, both of them open up fairly easy. And then there's the two in the back as well. So again, surprised it did not come with a supplied tool for this, because to me that would have made a lot more sense than using your fingernail. But again, the operation for these is pretty seamless. Oh, one's a little bit lower than the other. There we go. Pretty seamless. So there's that. Before you open the hood or trunk, you do want to remove the top. Okay, there's a magnet there. And then you open the doors. So there's the front. In the back, you actually push it forward and then open it. So I'm going to do that part and open. Very easy operation. So. Just taking a glance at the interior, the door cards look very good, actually. I don't know if there's any other technique to perfect the stitching, because when you look up close, they're just dotted lines. But from a distance, it does look like stitching, and I could see why LCD made the choice to do dotted lines, because when this is the only way you're going to really pay attention to that is when you're looking, really up close. But from a distance, It looks really good, actually. So I get it. So they get a pass on that. You have your door speaker grill. And of course, there's the hint of dry, this is still wet carbon fiber that goes throughout the door as well. As you can see, there's that flocking that's on the steering wheel, which is just like the real deal. One thing I'm going to say about the steering wheel that I'm surprised at, I probably could take a look at the actual photo, but I'm very sure everything on the steering wheel should not be black. But it is on here. So I'm surprised at that. But that was the choice they made. And then there's also the foot pedals, so your gas and brake. And yeah, they look fine. They're there as well. So let's take a look at the top view. So here we are in the top view. And again, just a beautiful presentation of this vehicle. So, something I do want to point out about the interior, so the seats. The seats are obviously orange, so this color does not match the actual car. And for me, what really throws me off are these inserts here. They should not be shiny like that. Not according to the real thing. So I'm not sure what was up with the choice with that. The seatbelts are plastic, but they're very thin plastic. So it mimics cloth because they're so thin. So I think that was a really smart choice because at first it's like, oh, these are just hard plastic, but no, these things move around. So you would think they were actually cloth. And I do like the way that they have them buckled. Other companies usually will have them unbuckled sitting on the side, and you'll see this belt hanging off back here somewhere. I like that they actually have them buckled like that. I think that looks really cool. Just looking at the dashboard, and you can see that carbon fiber on the instrument cluster there, and it looks really good. It's nice and shiny. Also, look at the, I'll back this out a little bit. Just the inner monocoque, as they call it. Again, just that carbon fiber that's look that they used. Looks like the real thing. It's a really nice job. So moving on to the engine detail. So you can see here you have your extremely nicely chromed out intake. You have the Pagani clearly on the valve covers. The structure bars or torsion bars, or however you want to call them. If you're familiar with Auto Arts Paganis, usually these braces, these strut braces if you want to call them that, they'll have a screw. And when I say a screw, an actual Phillips screw holding these down. It's kind of a love-hate thing. I mean, I kind of appreciate it, but at the same time, it does take away from some of the realism from the model. But on the other side of that is that usually they use metal for these strut braces. In this scenario, or in this particular model, these are plastic. They're acceptable. They don't look bad. I'm not suggesting you look plastic here cheap or anything. Just taking a note of the difference there. The other thing that's neat about this model is that, well, you don't see a brick back there, so that's a good thing. And then you have your springs, of course, on your shocks. There is a decal, which I don't think I can show you, but there's the decal on there as well, so that gives it another sense of realism. There's that exhaust, which does mimic metal really well, especially when you look right here. See that? See how it looks like it's burned and it's gradually getting darker? It's not all uniform. And it definitely doesn't look painted on. And as I move it back and forth, it has a shine to it. So that is really good. I'm very happy about that. The suspension does move up and down, by the way. So you do have that as well. And there you are. The Pagani Huayra BC Roadster. Now to my conclusions. Well, there you have it. The LCD Pagani Huayra Roadster BC. This model is just beyond fantastic. When I first got it, I was very excited once I opened the box and the car was revealed. The gloss, as I mentioned, on the overall model is great, especially on the carbon fiber, which was something that I was really concerned about because it seems like it's a mixed bag, not necessarily with LCD, but just any model company. Sometimes they get it right and sometimes they get it really wrong. I can tell you that the AutoArt version of this model is actually very good. It's very good except for one thing, and if you have that model or you've seen it, then you know exactly what I'm referring to. That notorious brick in the engine. No one's yet figured out why that's there. It does look like a Lego, and so that really prevented me from buying that particular model. LCD, on the other hand, does not have any strange anomalies with the engine, and it's metal die cast. As you guys probably know, I'm okay with the composite. I think in some instances it's actually better than the die cast metal. But for this particular model, the fact that it wasn't die cast and it doesn't have the brick in the back is the main reason why I got it. So in other words, if AutoArt didn't have that engine issue, I probably would have gotten that model before the LCD, just because AutoArt's been around for a longer time. They're really good at their craft, and LCD is still new to the game, and typically I wouldn't want to risk getting something that's less known. So that's really the reason. Some of the positives of this model. The overall construction is fantastic. The shape of the car is perfect. It's shaped just like the real deal. The carbon fiber detail is great. It has a nice gloss to it. No complaints there. The paint overall is great. There's no defects. There's no paint rash. It's applied very evenly and smooth. The wheel detail is beyond fantastic. This is equal, if it doesn't surpass, AutoArt's detail in some of the wheels that they do. The fact that they feel like they're metal. They have all the possible detail. The tire scripting is perfection. It has every piece of lettering that the real tire would have. So, and then there's the signature on the rim itself. You know, technology is really great in that. How they got that small signature to look like the actual signature is beyond me, but it's some of the best wheel detail I've ever seen. The brake calipers are great. The disc rotors themselves look like carbon ceramic. So yeah, the wheels are fantastic. The engine detail, no complaints there. Very satisfied with that. I think the best feature is the exhaust, as I mentioned. It does look like titanium that has actually been heated, and so it has that blue hue to it. And yeah, some of the negatives. The interior, specifically the seats. The seats are awful. If you've never seen the actual car, you wouldn't think they were that bad. You would think, okay, they're an orange color seat. But the actual car, the seats are a dark orange. It's a soft leather. These look nothing like that. So I don't know what happened there. It's definitely a misstep for it, but it doesn't detract from the overall beauty of this model. So I do highly recommend this model. If I was to rate this model, value-wise, I'd give it 3. As far as perfection, it's a great model. It's definitely a top 10 model. The last thing that I do want to just mention is that I did a review on the Almost Real Plus Pagani F, which is a great model. But this LCD model comes very close to the quality of that AR Plus, which makes me wonder if LCD can do a model like this that's almost on par with the Almost Real Pagani F. Why in the heck is the Almost Real almost double the price? That's a mystery to me. But again, they come that close. And personally, I like the LCD model better. Not because of the materials, the colors. I just like the Pagani F is, personally to me, is not a very attractive car. I liked it and I wanted it as a model because of all the detail that it had. But overall, to me, it's just not a very attractive car. The Huayra BC is by far a more attractive car. I think it presents far better than the Almost Real model, again, only because of it. So in other words, if the two cars were actually outside and I was looking at both of them, I think most of you, and that includes myself, would say, yeah, that BC is pretty awesome. I like that one better. So that's all I mean by that. But that price difference, oof, that's something to take in consideration, as LCD is creating more models. In a different video, I mentioned some of those. That includes they're actually coming out with their own McLaren F1, which is very exciting. Can't wait to see that. Definitely be on that top list for reviews. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. That is the only way that I'm going to know that you enjoy these videos, which will prompt me to make more. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time.